everyone, I'm Ayra, as Miss Elizabeth said, and thank you so much for having me here. It's honestly an honor. So like Miss Elizabeth said, I'm a dual program completer, and the journey to getting there was honestly not that easy because as I completed both programs at a very young age, I had a lot of challenges along the way. And with constant motivation from Miss Anita, my parents, and with events like the award ceremonies, I was able to persevere and eventually achieve what I wanted to do. So I just want to share, at one of our very first award ceremonies at our center, our very first math program completer, I think he was in like 6th grade, so about 10 or 11 years old, he was our very first math program completer. So when he completed the program, like Miss Anita said, she gives them these big checks. And I think we have one here. So it's like this. So Miss Anita called him up on stage, and she gave him this check, and it was for $300. So I was in like 2nd grade at the time. So I was a 7-year-old. And I was like, wow, this kid, he's only a few years older than me. He's getting $300, and I want that, you know? So as a 7-year-old, the possibilities for $300 are absolutely endless. So right after the ceremony, I was tremendously motivated. So I run up to Miss Anita, and I'm like, I want to finish the program, both of them. And so I sat down with her, and we discussed, and we talked about my goals. So eventually, we came up with a plan that I would finish the reading program in 4th, and the math program in 6th grade. And eventually I was able to achieve both of those goals. So I believe that the award ceremonies play 3 major roles in the motivation of Kumon students. And the first is validation. Because when you as a Kumon student are sitting in the audience, the experience of the award ceremonies can be very validating towards you. Because what would happen was I would be sitting in the audience, I'd be waiting for my name to be called up to accept my award. Then all of a sudden I would hear, "Can Ayra J please come up to the stage?" Then I would go up, I'd walk up the steps, and then Miss Anita would give me my certificate or my trophy. Then I stand with her, I get my picture taken. That entire experience is just so empowering to a student because all of the tears you shed going through all of those worksheets and corrections in the past year, all of that pays off because now you have something to show for it, that I have achieved something. And then this brings me to my second role, which is self-driven goal setting. Because after you receive an award and you see other students achieving other great things just like you are like in that short moment of time, you have this tremendous amount of motivation as a student. And you believe, I want to do better and I want to do greater things. So this drives you, just like I shared myself. I went to Miss Anita after that award ceremony and I said, I want to finish the programs. So students just like that go to Miss Anita, so many of them, and they say, how do I achieve my goals? How do I become a G by 4 student, a G by 6 student? How do I finish this level by this amount of time? And so many students are able to see the path of their entire Kumon journey laid out in front of them. And this brings me to my last goal, which is motivation itself. Because when you receive a trophy or a certificate or an award, these are all sources of extrinsic motivation as they are physical objects being given to you. Like that check, that was a factor of external motivation given to me. But all of these external factors give you the self-motivation to achieve things yourself because of the goal layout that has been put in front of you. And that is what makes a whole student, because this extrinsic motivation is a catalyst for your own self-empowerment and your self-motivation. So I just want to share with you something that happened at our last award ceremony in May. And what happened was I had given a testimonial on stage, just basically on how Kumon has affected my life in ways in school and outside of school. And what had happened was after the ceremony, I was in the cafeteria just eating, and a student came running up to me. And he was like, Ayra, I gotta tell you something. And I was like, what happened? And this student had actually been planning on quitting the program for a long time now, in both math and reading, because the difficulty of the worksheets was getting to be too much for him. So what happened was, he comes to me and he says, I really wanted to quit the program, but I think I won't anymore because of what you said and how it helped you. And then his mom says to me, I couldn't even convince him to come to Kumon anymore, much less do his worksheets at home. So just hearing how these award ceremonies help the lives of so many students in just so many different ways is genuinely empowering. And I think I give my success in my life so far, not just to the award ceremonies, but to Kumon itself. Because like Miss Elizabeth shared before, I'm currently a freshman at the Middlesex Academy of Biomedical Sciences, which is gonna prep me for a future in the medical career. And recently, a couple of years ago, I took a test called the SSAT, which is basically a test taken by students all over the world to get into rigorous private high schools. And I scored in the 95th percentile compared to peers all over the world. And actually, just this past school year, I took the PSAT, which is a test taken by juniors in the US. And I scored in the 99th percentile as a freshman. And so this is just stuff some in school, but outside of school, I attended a residential biology course at Johns Hopkins last year. And actually, just a couple of days ago, I was accepted into a biomedical summer research program at UPenn for this summer. So Kumon has helped my life in just so many ways, in academic, non-academic, some extracurriculars I've done. I was part of summer dancing and gymnastic competitive teams for some time, for a couple of years, but I've had to give those up because of the academic demands of my new school. But just in school, I've been part of a public speaking course for about 4 or 5 years now, and I plan to be an influential speaker in the future, and I actually participate in my debate club at school. So I genuinely give all of my successes in life and all of my future successes to both Kumon and my parents.